Well, Bad Mama Jamma, how's it going tonight?
Bad Mama Jam is doing good. Although I have another a moral question I'd like to throw out at the beginning right here. About 2 weeks ago, I annihilated an 8-year-old at Uno, and you guys are both parents. Basically, I was just getting good cards. You know, if you deal me two draw fours, you're going down. So, was I supposed to throw it? Is it okay to crush an 8-year-old at Uno? Basically.
Absolutely.
You think
Well,
so? Well, and it just before you have, in my defense too, earlier it was before I had a job, so I actually was talking to I knew the 8-year-old since he was 3, so we've hung out for 5 years, more than half his life. And I asked him, what job do you think I could get? And I go, do you think I could be a teacher? And his reply was, you're going to have to know more. So I think maybe deep down I was just like, oh yeah, I need to know more. I know about crushing you in Uno. So I think I might have. That was the issue I was dealing with. See, what do you guys think as parents?
sounds reasonable.
I think an an 8-year-old is pushing the limit. You know, like if it was a 5-year-old, then you're just an asshole. But 8-year-old, might be able to take it a little better.
All right, when can you beat a child? Not physically, but at a game. When is the proper age where you don't have to let them win every time?
When they start beating you consistently.
Okay, so then yeah, you have to like up your game. So when they start, yeah, like you're like, I was letting you win. Your kid was like, I was letting you win. I felt bad for you.
That's already happening with Delilah, so I'm
Well, it's mainly trivia. It's really just game of intelligence and not making people vomit with odor. But other than that, you're hanging in. So I last episode there was no reference to your funk, so I had to get one early. There, we're on the board.
I appreciate that, Kirk.
Just getting out of the way. I mean, there's more coming later, but it's good to get the first one out.
Yeah.
And John, shut up. Stop talking, John. Seriously, zip it.
I have like a 50-50 chance of reacting to eggs. And today was one of those 50% chances.
What? So it's wait, you have an allergy to, so it's like a flip of the coin. Sometimes you're fine and sometimes you're
Yeah,
like, really?
I don't know what it is, but I haven't for about 2 years almost. I didn't eat eggs at all because I was having what I thought were reactions to them. So I was like, okay, well, I just won't eat eggs. And then I had breakfast burritos because, you know, there's only a certain amount of time that you can be without a breakfast burrito where you're like,
oh, they're delicious.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, so I made myself a breakfast burrito and I was completely fine. It's like, I think it has to do with undercooked yolk. Or not undercooked, but you know what I mean, when it's runny and not fully solidified.
Okay,
but
so well done. You need it well done.
I think so. I'm not 100%.
What about Eggos? Can you eat Eggos?
Eggos are fine.
Can you egg a house? If you egg your neighbors, can you do that? Or is that going to break you out too?
No, I don't know what it is.
Maybe like a nice egg salad. Could you do that?
Yeah, I've had egg salads. I've had all of that with.
But why would you? Eggs, come on, ugh, mayonnaise and ugh. I'm like, come on, let's start a movement right now. Egg salad is bullshit. Anybody who's with me?
I like egg salad, Kirk. So you can.
I was gonna say, yeah, I make a pretty good deviled egg salad too.
Oh, you guys and your mayo. Ugh.
Are you trying to say we're very white, Kirk?
You're as a white person in the cracker community. You guys would be the saltines, is what I'm saying. I mean, I have a little bit of a Cheez-It, a Ritz has a little bit of.
Well,
I was gonna say.
We're walking home at
yeah,
8, and like I had a key. I had one. Like I had a keychain with one key. Remember that age? That's the only thing you needed. But yeah, like
we grew up in a small town, Kirk. We never had the doors weren't locked.
You didn't even need a key. All right. Well, I grew up in the big city of Phoenix, but or Glendale. I don't think parents would let an 8-year-old walk home for 7 blocks or 5 blocks. Do you think they would actually let it slide?
No. Me and
Why
Chris.
Not? They can walk.
Yeah, me and Chris used to walk, and our brother David, we used to walk from our home almost it was close to like a mile and a half to the elementary school.
Yes, somewhere around there.
And did
I remember
anything ever happen? Any bad thing ever happen to you guys?
Yes, we got chased by a bull.
Yeah, by a bull.
All right, well, I'm on the bull side. The bull was right. But anyway, but you guys are wearing red and you're bastards. You need
No,
to be chased.
it had gotten out of its... It was a path we always took because it was a shortcut. Well, kind of a shortcut. We had to cross train tracks that didn't have a road. But we went down this, and there's just a bull sitting in the middle of the road that had somehow gotten out.
I would just like to point out, John, that I was the smart one that said we should jump the fence into where he got out of so that we could successfully get around this bull. They're like, no, it'll be fine. I'm like, you guys do what you want. I'm getting on this other side of the fence.
Yeah, that's how we got past it. I do remember that.
Yeah, that bull charged us like a mofo.
Yeah. What was it, Quickie Mart? Or Quick Mart?
Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we gathered change, walked down, it was probably close to half a mile from our house, buy candy, and walk back.
Didn't even need to deal with Bitcoin. Had no idea what Bitcoin was.
Still don't.
Fine.
Still have no idea.
I think it's... I always picture when they say Bitcoin, I don't think this is right, but I always picture those little chocolate coin circles with the gold foil. That's what I picture when they say Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's pretty
close.
What
I picked. I was gonna say, I think that's what I picture too, Kirk. So well done.
Exactly, and to be honest, unless you're a comedian, you shouldn't be able to use Bitcoin. But anyway, back to what we were talking about.
Relationship going to be with robots and humans, specifically, like let's say you work a warehouse job, and 50% of the workforce is human, 50% of the workforce is robot. In a real world, I know that robots aren't going to take breaks like humans will, but, how are you going to interact with a robot that you're working with? And we were talking, me and Kirk, the other day, and I was thinking about that movie. I still don't know the name of it. John, maybe you do. It was with Joaquin Phoenix, where he fell in love with a computer.
Trying to think.
Come on, John. How do you not know this? Mr. Pale Computer. Jesus Christ. The guy falls in love with the computer. It's the John story.
I am horrible with actors and faces and all of that. Like,
It
was Her. The name of the movie was Her.
All right. Well, you're horrible with your own face. But boom. Okay, anyway. Sorry, that was a softball.
About... when you've got Spot the dog working right next to you, how are you? What's the interaction going to be?
I bet the robots always guess the baby pool because they're smarter than us, and everybody. That's what will piss everybody off. They're always winning the baby pool. Screw these robots. Let's take them down.
Robot doesn't even need money. What the hell?
Well, and
you can always get more bling. Come on. Jeff Bezos doesn't need more money. He's making it.
With your example of Spot, it's tangibly already in effect. I mean, if you look at a lot of the feeds with SpaceX down in Boca Chica, Spot's become kind of like one of the personalities down there. There's people that are looking specifically for that robot because it just wanders around doing whatever every day. I mean, they had another one, I think it was the New York Police Department that was trying to use one of those. And that garnered the opposite attraction because people were absolutely mortified that New York Police Department was using a robot.
Well, they can't even let people wander around and do whatever. Like they're automating that, for Christ's sake.
Well, and I think in that specific circumstance, they were using it more for surveillance, much like they already do with kind of those robotic, not even drones. They were just RC cars that were really, really fancy.
So you're a criminal. You're looking around. You're seeing. You look over there and you see a guy. You're like, oh, that might be an undercover cop. And you look over there. He's like, there's a robot dog. That's not alarming, really.
Well, and yeah, It's
That seems more. As if I'm committing a crime, if I see a robot dog, I'm like, I'm going over here. That could be Robo Dog, or I don't know, but that seems sketchy.
yeah.
I have a lot of brain time while I'm doing my job, so I get to think about all this stupid crap, and then I spew
More
it out.
time. You have more time than brain. Let's be honest. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, everybody already knows that, Kirk. But during my time of thinking, I get to think about these stupid things and then spew them out on a podcast, which people listen to. But I started thinking about the relationship between robot and worker, and I said, I wonder, just out of curiosity, what it would be like if you had a robot sitting next to you at your job. Would I hate it, or would I try and become friends with that robot in a sense?
Well, I think you'd friend it up, and I think it's just going to lead to a lot of different weird porn in the workplace. It's all going to be your robot stepsister. It's going to be creepy.
Well, way to take it that way, Kirk. But
All right, John, take it a different way. Go.
Yeah, you killed it, Kirk. Ow.
Just a little.
At some stores here in Denver specifically, they've been using robots to clean the floors.
I was going to bring that up earlier. The Walmart ones.
Yeah, Walmart.
Is it they just kind of go up and down the aisles, just and he's like, "Don't go down that aisle." They have signs put up or something. I haven't seen that.
No. Well,
no, they drive around like just normal. Like, well, we've had it happen when we were shopping, and honestly, the damn thing almost ran us over, which was a little bit sketchy. Because
the video I saw, you could also ask it questions.
You can talk to the cleaning man robot.
Yes.
No, the one that we encountered was like a Zamboni, like small scale Zamboni that was just driving around cleaning the floors. And I literally had to because it stopped when it saw people, because that's what it's designed to do. But it kept wanting to go forward even though we were standing there. And it got to the point where it's like, dude, we better get out of this thing's way. Otherwise it's just gonna keep coming.
And in the robot's defense too, it was smelling feces, so it thought somebody was let a dog in there. So there's a mess it had to clean up, but it was just you. So I think you were partly to blame.
That one hurt, Kirk.
Oh, good. It's nice you still feel good.
Well, I was gonna...
Another way that people are getting replaced, like they feel like they're getting some sort of bonding thing with Alexa. And then it's just like, I can just hang with Alexa instead of interacting with people. That went dark.
Well, that was that movie. The guy got, he was in love with his computer, like a legitimate, soulmate kind of thing. It was weird. I never watched it, but that's probably why.
So your reference is a movie you never watched? That's interesting. That's an interesting strategy.
There was a lot of trailers, and I got the gist of the movie.
You got the... Okay, all right. You saved $8. Well done.
Probably well deserved. No, didn't need to see that one.
There's a lot of movies where it's like you would have to pay me to go watch that and waste 2 hours with that. Like to go, I don't know, to whatever the new comic book movie, I think you'd have to give me $40.
I was really happy when I saw Shrek in the theater. So
Shrek was hilarious. Shrek was funny. A lot of jokes.
Yeah. Not just for the kids.
Nope. I think that it was nice when Pixar and that they started making those Toy Story movies where it was enjoyable on several levels. Although Toy Story makes you cry, so screw
Toy Story 3 was the most god-awful movie ever. And have you seen it, Kirk?
I don't think I saw the third. I know I saw the first two, but I think I missed the last one.
Do not watch Toy Story 3 because as a grown man, you will cry your eyes out. It's terrible. It was stupid, and I hate that movie.
Okay. Was it just because it was so expensive?
No, dude. So at the end, these
Spoiler
toys.
alert.
No spoilers. Spoilers, everybody. Kirk. I don't know if I can paint this correctly, but at the end, you know how the toys are like alive and they, do their thing? They are going down a conveyor belt towards an incinerator, and they all look at each other and they hold hands and they're like, well, it's been real, guys.
Oh, they went out as a unit, as a platoon.
No, they ended up getting saved, but
Oh, okay. But just that moment, that hit you.
yeah, oh god, it was heart-wrenching. No, thank you.
All right, this has been an episode of What Makes Chris Cry, which surprisingly not his body odor. He's just gotten used to it, folks.
I was cutting an onion earlier, and I had some tears going. So
the onion started to cry. That's the problem. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Chris stinks. Anyway.
Well, it's nice that we didn't get any last week, so that you could pepper them this week.
Yes, you're overdue.
The whole principle of it is that most mammals absorb most of the nutrients that we need in our colon. Not colon per se, but large intestine, that area. And they're doing trials to see if by pumping oxygen or liquid oxygen, which I didn't understand that part because liquid oxygen is cold, if it would transfer to the blood and be able to oxygenate the blood. And I think they found that in rats it was working.
I read the article and then I told my wife about it, and her response was, "Those poor lab animals."
Yeah, no, I agree, because the whole procedure sounds horrifying to begin with, because they go in and scrape the tissue off the large intestine before they start oxygenating, which it doesn't sound painful or pleasant. And then I'm assuming
they got to puff up like a Macy's Day balloon or something.
That was my thought too. It's like, well, that's all well and good, but you in my job, when there's a lot of air in the intestines, that's a bad thing. And I can see where they were going with the research. The whole thing was trying to tie, like, oh, there's a ventilator shortage. What other ways could we potentially oxygenate people? I don't think that's going to be the first choice.
Are you blowing smoke up my ass? No. Are you blowing liquid oxygen up my ass? Yeah, maybe. Could be.
What's
it to you?
Guys, we got two choices. We can either ride this out, or we can we could put some oxygen up your ass.
Inflate you like the Macy's Day balloons.
Right.
Guys, Doc, I gotta be honest, I'm just gonna take my chances.
Look, you've been blowing air out of your ass for years. Has it helped you? Let's try something different. Let's blow air up your ass. What? I mean, I guess that makes sense, but
yeah,
why in the waiting room? Can we go and do a?
I mean, I understand the principle of the research, and I just don't think there's a medical necessity for it. I mean, I could be wrong. There's stuff that'll definitely change.
I like you say you could be wrong, as if everyone listening thinks this guy's infallible. Until you say
God,
that.
No.
Unless you let them know you could be wrong, they're like, everything they say is a genius. You know what? That's a bit cocky, John. I gotta say. That's a bit cocky move.
Let's hope not. But I do think it's funny anytime you see a medical story that comes along and they're like, hey, because they had people who like volunteered. They're trying to do clinical studies based off the article you sent over, that people are like volunteering to go in, like breathe in a mixture of gases that puts them in hypoxia so that they could have like an oxygen enema. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not one of those people. Don't know.
Those trials, I would assume those trials usually pay decent money, because the risk of fucking dying is pretty high. I'm assuming it wouldn't come to that, but
Look, if we had universal basic income, nobody would have to have air blown up their ass for science. That's all I'm saying.